On this episode of Cuesta Dos, my brother David and I talk about, you guessed it if you've been listening, more Antonio Brown. Whether or not the better option in Indianapolis is Jacoby Brissett or Brian Hoyer at quarterback. A bunch of players in the NFL who got paid. Luka Doncic versus the WNBA for some reason. Max Kellerman saying track isn't a sport. Serena's loss in the final of the U.S. Open and Rafael Nadal's victory. NBA banning Ninja Headbands. And that NFL fans need to relax after just 1 week of play. Without any further ado, intro time.
One is the loneliest number that you'll ever do. Two can be as bad as one. It's the loneliest number since the number one. One is the loneliest number that you'll ever do. Two can be as bad as one. It's the loneliest number since the number one.
What's going on, sports fans, and welcome to another episode of Cuesta Dos. I'm Alex Cuesta, my brother David Cuesta here with me. What's up, Dave?
How you doing, everyone?
Doing good. We have another jam-packed episode filled with Antonio Brown updates, and more Antonio Brown updates. He has made the show again. He is quite literally making this show, David.
He is, and it's deservingly so.
So, Dave, I'm going to run down the timeline that I jotted down here.
Mm-hmm.
And it's this week. You know, last week we were talking, what is he going to do? Is he even going to make the show next week? It seemed like things might be calming down. Antonio Brown just gave a little hold my beer and then just went off. And it seems like it ended up well for him. But let me just run down the Antonio Brown timeline.
Yes.
So he got a $54,000 fine from the Raiders for missing practices and stuff. And he let out an Instagram post about it where he was complaining, saying that people are going to hate him for God knows what, and everyone out there taking his money. So just remember, this guy makes millions. So the next day in practice, Mike Mayock, the general manager, was watching, and he apparently went in to go and embrace Mike Mayock and talk to him, and it ended up being an altercation where all reports said that Mayock kept his cool, and Antonio Brown was the one flipping out, called Mike Mayock a cracker, which I find kind of funny. So, and he also told him he'd punch him in the face. So after that all happens, comes out that he might be suspended by the Raiders, and if he's suspended before these games that happen, we're recording this a little late on a Monday, the 9th, if the games happen this weekend, he'll lose all of his guaranteed money and can be cut without costing the Raiders anything. After that, AB requests a trade or release. The next day, he issues an emotional apology to the team with the captain standing next to him. Then Gruden says that he is going to play on Monday after this heartfelt apology.
Mm-hmm.
So then the Raiders give him another fine. And he requests release via an Instagram post on Saturday because his money got voided. And I think it was like $29 million that got voided. And then he signs with the worst possible option, the Patriots. I hate them. David, what the hell do you make? We thought it was calming down. What the hell?
Okay, yeah. No one, we did think it was calming down. But I will say that I said to one of my friends, Matthew Santos, because he had AB on his fantasy team, I said to him, listen, there's a lot of time between now and Monday. You never know what's going to happen with this. And, well, we saw. There's one thing that you forgot to mention. That's the video he released on YouTube. Remember that?
Oh, my God. Yeah, his little black and white video.
That was part of the problem. That's an extra thing that happened where he recorded Gruden's phone call with him, and he put that out.
Now, I read
really
that.
Emotional video.
I read that Gruden and his people okayed that phone call being used. It wasn't something covert.
I did read something like that. Gruden said it was awesome or whatever.
Yeah, and no, but he also, and it came out today that his people, AB's people, contacted Gruden and his people about putting their conversation that they had on the video, and Gruden was cool with everything that he used. So that's why I think Gruden reacted the way he reacted, because he didn't feel blindsided by it.
All right, yeah, that makes sense. All right, but then other than that, because you did miss that part, and that's pretty big. It's part of the trouble as well. But Yeah, the evil empire strikes again, and now there's a conspiracy. There's basically a conspiracy theory going around because I mean, it came out that AB did seek help on getting released from the Raiders by social media consultants. So the man did at least act a little bit in this. Like he was acting at least a little bit in order to get released. Now, obviously, there's conspiracy theories because the Patriots are involved that the Patriots and Antonio Brown almost either had this set up since day one or they had said it. Something. I mean, I'm not going to go into it and completely believe it, but there is some weird stuff going on, and when the evil empire is involved, everyone's gonna jump on it.
Now, what adds fuel to this is that the reports came out that the Patriots were seeking a trade with the Steelers when he was put on the market.
No way in hell because you're the Patriots.
Yeah, they weren't going to do it to a division or not division, a conference rival, which makes sense. And then they ship them off to the Raiders. And if you're the Raiders, are you thinking of filing tampering charges, or are you just get the hell away from us, Antonio Brown? I don't care where you go.
I mean, I may still want to because he just wasted their time. He wasted their time. He wasted a spot. Like it's so much time that they could have been rebuilding the team in a different way.
Now, how do you feel about Derek Carr? There was a post talking about him joining the Patriots and this and that. And all Derek Carr did was retweet with a comment and just put a clown over top. He quite literally called Antonio Brown a clown.
I mean, I'd feel slighted if I remember I saw the report that apparently Derek and Antonio Brown they were like getting close, and Derek felt close with them, and then after everything happened, tried to call Antonio, and Antonio just never picked up. Derek Carr got ghosted. The man got ghosted. So of course he's going to react like that.
Now, I'm just curious. Was this all an act? Everyone thought Antonio Brown was going batshit crazy. Now, it comes out he had the social media consultant to try and get himself released and yada, yada, yada. Is he insane still, or was that an act?
Okay. I will go ahead and say most of the Raiders stuff is probably an act. The Steelers stuff, probably not. Maybe the later part of the Steelers stuff. Now, because it seems you gotta think about it when him and Ben go off at each other like in the beginning of it, and maybe like how he had the whole locker room thing where he recorded Tomlin and stuff, and there was a big deal about that. Yep. I don't think that was an act. I think that actually happened. It was just things that blew up. But other things like maybe the mustache, like having that big yellow or gold, however it was, like maybe that was like part of it. I'm not entirely sure. It's hard to recognize which parts aren't. I think most of the Raiders stuff are, but then again, who's to say?
Now this sets such a bad precedent. It sets a terrible precedent.
It's such an awful precedent.
Star athletes, if they want to get out, if they don't want to be somewhere, just be a friggin' lunatic. Go nuts, and then eventually you'll get released, and you can go wherever you want. Like, this is a terrible precedent that Antonio Brown just set. We talk about precedents being set all the time. Everyone gives LeBron James crap in the NBA because he set the sign for 2 years with the opt-out after the first year, and everyone hates him for that. Antonio Brown quite literally signed a contract with good guaranteed money and was like, I want out. I'm going to act like a psycho. And these are what social media consultants, some professionals, were telling me to do via social media. What the hell is going to happen when, I don't know, it's Stephon Diggs and the Vikings if he wants to get out?
The thing is, I don't know if anyone could pull it off like AB did. Like, I don't know, man. That's tough. That is tough to do.
Do you think Odell was taking notes on his whiteboard in his mansion? Like, things go wrong in Cleveland. I got to do that. My hair's already. I got to make it gold again.
Dude, I honestly don't even think Odell could do that. Like, Antonio apparently was the perfect way. He did it the perfect way. Maybe some of that's in him. Like, maybe some of that wasn't an act. But like I said, you never entirely know. I feel like not many people could pull off that kind of authentic, insane experience like Antonio did.
Looking at the Patriots, they played well this weekend, really well, stomped the Steelers. Josh Gordon looked like a good receiver again, Julian Edelman. Tom Brady spreads it out. They played this week, and it looked like there was a lot of talent on that team where we didn't know there was there. You add Antonio Brown, who's a diva. Is it going to be a too many cooks situation? Is he going to go off, or is he going to fall in line like Randy Moss did?
I mean, I feel like we knew most of that talent that was there. It's just they used it differently. I remember I saw a stat where they basically barely had any tight ends in most of their plays, which is something that we don't know, that we haven't seen from the Patriots in a while, especially with Gronk, that when Gronk was there. But no, it's just, you could do whatever you want with Tom Brady and the talent around him. You just put in the scheme, and the man's probably going to understand it and rip apart defenses. But with Antonio Brown there, I think they can still find a way to get him his touches. Like, I know Tom spreads it around a lot, but because he spreads it around a lot, he's able to get it to everyone. Like, you can't just kind of disregard someone. Like, I don't want to make it sound like you're just leaving him open, but you can't just think like, oh, he'll be covered because Tom will find a way to get him the ball.
Yep, we'll see what happens in New England. It's going to be an interesting ride over there in New England, and I'm not looking forward to it because screw the Patriots.
Yeah, the Jets are going to have a pretty bad time against the Patriots. Unless we really step it up, I feel like we can. But everyone's going to have a bad time against the Patriots. I mean, they're basically the Super Bowl favorites coming in, unless you thought maybe like the Chiefs or the Saints. But everyone always puts the Patriots in there. And after AB, I mean, it's a wash almost.
So we're not going to turn this into Patriots love or hate, or how much we both hate the Jets after this weekend.
That's fair.
You got something with the battle that I see as a battle and you don't.
I don't see it as a battle at all.
It should be.
Okay, so for some reason you believe there is a battle between Hoyer or Brissett for a better choice for the Colts. I firmly believe in Jacoby. I do not think he's a bad quarterback at all. I think he gives you a lot of options. He can do a lot with his feet, and he can put the ball in good places for his receivers. Obviously, he's still young. He's not old at all, and so he can still learn. He has a good team around him. Everything was set up for luck. And, they just gave him an extension. Apparently, they want to give him more money depending on how well he plays, and they expect him to play well. Now, you apparently think Brian Hoyer should be a better choice for the Colts for some reason.
Yeah, I don't understand why they're putting any baskets in Jacoby Brissett. I think Jacoby Brissett is a fine backup. He is a very fine backup, just fine. You look at his stats this weekend against a decent Chargers defense. I don't think they're great. I think they're without Joey Bosa, so there goes part of their pass rush, which is big. 21-27, 190 yards, 2 touchdowns. Not bad. But then you look down one line and you see rushing. Marlon Mack had 25 touches, 174 yards. That is their success. Their success is going to be running the ball. And I don't think Jacoby Brissett adds much to that, where I think he's a guy that's trying, like you said, he's young. He's trying to prove himself. He's going to make mistakes. And what you need in there right now is a game manager. You don't need a star. You had Andrew Luck that was a star. You got to go back to the drawing board because Jacoby Brissett sure as hell is not a star. If he was, he would have been there already. I think that Hoyer or anybody is a better option because I don't think you want to be good this year if you're the Colts. At this point, you tank. You sucked for Luck. You suck for Herbert. Or Tua, or whoever the hell ends up being the best player that comes out of the draft. I think Colts should be back in suck mode.
No, I completely disagree with that. I completely disagree with that. See, and maybe it's me that absolutely hates tanking. I've always hated tanking since the idea of it came up because I feel like that is just completely away from what you play the damn game for. Like just play and win games. Like just try to win games. They have everything set up for themselves. They had a good chance at a deep playoff run with Andrew Luck. It's unfortunate that he retired. And like I said, Jacoby is young. Yes, he's going to try things. He's going to make mistakes. But you never know what can come out of a kid. You never know how good he can be. With Brian Hoyer just becoming vanilla, you're deciding, I'm going to give up on the season because our guy retired. Whatever. We're going to try for Tua or Herbert, and then we're going to throw him in this first season, possibly ruin the kid. Yet another thing I hate is throwing a rookie in the first season. But I don't get it. Let Jacoby play. If he doesn't work out and you suck anyway, then you could do it. But why not just let the kid play, let him see how much better he can get? And if he's good enough and gets you to playoffs, then that's another QB that you have that can help you out.
My only response to that is when they built the team around Andrew Luck, they knew that he was going to block a lot of deficiencies that team has. And a lot of the deficiency is on the defense. The defense is still not a strong defense. The Colts have never had a typically strong defense. And they're basing it on the fact that Luck is going to be able to put up a lot of points and that he's going to be able to win games for him on his own. Nobody built this team around Jacoby Brissett being able to do that. He's not going to win you games on his own. He is not going to hold on to the football more than another team. You look at it right now, the Chargers, even without Melvin Gordon, who should have been hurting them, played well. The Colts played well, but the Chargers ended up winning in OT in a game that if you have Andrew Luck, they might not even be sniffing you because Andrew Luck is just that much of a better player than you.
I don't know. The Chargers are a great team, man. The Chargers are not a bad team. They were a playoff team last year, and they're still a playoff team this year.
But you take away the dynamic. Take away the dynamic of Melvin Gordon. Everyone praised Austin Eckler, and he did just fine. 12 carries, 58 yards, and a touchdown. 6 catches, 96 yards, 2 touchdowns. All well and dandy. But you add Andrew Luck on the other side, and those might be snaps that they don't get because he's more capable of making plays on the other side.
I don't know, man. I don't think you can read too much into an OT game with a playoff team. I mean, yeah, you could say Andrew Luck could have won him the game, but I feel like he did just fine off the 1 week. I have no there's no reason to say he's like a bust off of 1 week. There's no reason to put in Brian Hoyer.
I just don't believe in Jacoby Brissett. I think Jacoby Brissett is a type of quarterback where you just stand still as a franchise. I don't think you move forward with the Jacoby Brissett. He's kind of a stopgap, and he's a stopgap of getting you to 8-8. And 8-8 is as good as being crap in the NFL because you get a middling pick. So why go 8-8? Tear it down again, Colts. Continue to not have a defense. Get a star quarterback in the draft. That's where I'm going with that.
Nah, I completely disagree.
And I'm happy you do.
Very, very, very defeatist thinking.
You know what? I'm a Jets fan. Okay, you shut your mouth. Talking about stars, there are some stars that got paid over this week. Starting first and foremost, Zeke Elliott finally got paid, and boy, did he get paid. He signed a 6-year, $90 million extension with $50 million guaranteed. I'm going to run down the line of guys that got paid real quick. Julio Jones, wide receiver, arguably one of the best wide receivers in the game that they hate throwing touchdowns to. Matt Ryan fixed that. But he got a 3-year, $66 million extension with $66 million guaranteed. So if you can understand that, he has a fully guaranteed contract, which is only, I think, the second ever that high of a number.
Yep, things are changing in the NFL.
We're going to touch on that. Next, Jared Goff, quarterback for the Rams. Everyone knows 4-year, $134 million extension, $110 million guaranteed, most ever. Deserved because Jared Goff is one of the nice, bright young stars. And lastly, Tyreek Hill, 3-year, $54 million contract, $35 million guaranteed. Sadly enough, he was carted off the field this last week. Hopefully, it's not going to be anything too bad. But I'm going to start with Tyreek Hill. He was just proven an innocent man, whether or not you believe it is or not. Court of law says he's innocent.
Yep.
And right away, Chiefs got the extension on him. They got a lot of crap for giving him this extension. What do you think? Was it rightful to give him the extension after he is exonerated?
I mean, if he's exonerated, you're going to. If the court of law said that the man is fine, then you have to give him the extension. What are you gonna say? The court of law is wrong. Like you really can't go against it. Like at that point, you're just bringing up a theory that you have that the court of law is wrong. Unfortunately, like whether you believe it or not, like you can't just say, okay, they're wrong, I'm right, and that's it.
Now it's interesting though because we've seen the NFL, we've seen other leagues do this before, where a guy is held up for a little while in a court case, and they basically hold him with pay. He's not allowed to participate, but he has pay. And then when the court says, he was good, they still fine him or suspend him because it was conduct detrimental to the shield or something like that. I'm surprised Tyreek Hill didn't get that treatment here.
I am too. I mean, I disagree with it because if the man's exonerated, then he didn't do anything. Yeah. If he's exonerated, then what conduct did he do that was detrimental? He didn't do anything. So I disagree with it. And I'm surprised it didn't happen to Tyreek, but I'm also happy it didn't happen to Tyreek because he was exonerated.
Now, hoping he can recover quickly from his injury. He was carted off. I'm hoping he'll be okay. We're going to talk a little golf. Julio, both of these guys got mega deals. Goff, the most paid ever, $110 million guaranteed. That is for a guy that already played in the Super Bowl and is a super talented guy. He's making, I think, 33.5 a year averaged out in his contract.
Yep.
And then Julio getting a straight guaranteed $66 million. And even out those Zeke in there, the 6 year, $90 million with 50 guaranteed is absolutely absurd. Should every one of these guys be at least shooting a call or text to Kirk Cousins going, thank you for your fully guaranteed money. You have changed the game forever.
Yeah, Kirk did change it. He definitely did change it. Kind of, I'm happy with the way that turned out for the Vikings and Jets, honestly. Yeah, I think it turned out best. But, honestly, all of them deserve it. I think Goff deserves it the least out of everyone, but I mean, the Rams want their quarterback for the future set up, so I get it. I completely get it. But Julio completely deserves it. One of the most dominant wide receivers we had in the game, just in history. And Zeke, he's going to be a bright running back for years and years to come. One we're going to remember in the game yet again. So every one of them deserves it in each their own way. And I am happy that they're getting guaranteed contracts now in the NFL. It's something that a lot of players wanted.
Now, I'm just curious, though, because we see one of the reasons why the guaranteed contracts work in the MLB and both the NBA is the MLB doesn't have a salary cap, and the NBA has a fake salary cap that's extremely loose.
That's true.
Are we going to start to see the owners want to soften up the cap, though? Because this hard cap is going to make it difficult. They're going to be putting all this guaranteed money into certain guys, and it's really going to pigeonhole what they could do with teams eventually. Because they're going to do – right now it's kind of the new age of the guaranteed deal, so they're able to throw out a lot of this money and stay within the cap. When all these guys start sitting there, and you're going to have a lot of dead cap money if you want to move on from a lot of these guys, or you're going to have to figure out an Antonio Brown situation where you can void it, and that might get messy. Are we going to see possibly a softening of the cap in the next CBA?
Well, it's either a softening of the cap or they're going to start giving out very different contracts to players. It's going to be looking very different with the way that they guarantee and how many years are given to these players. It's either one of those two options, because they're going to have to find some way to play around with how much money they dole out to their players in order for them to build their team.
Now, on that exact note, Dallas has two more guys that they have to take care of, two more stars they have to take care of.
Yep.
Dak Prescott, they got to take care of the man. He earned his money. Now, I don't really want to get into the games this weekend because we're kind of late doing this, and we're not going to normally talk about the current games, but Dak ate this weekend, and the other guy that's looking for it might have trouble because Dak played well. Amari Cooper needs to get paid there too, but he was outshone this week by Michael Gallup, and Butler's a very good option there too. So if you're the Cowboys, you're already up with this dilemma. You paid Jalen Smith, you paid Zeke, you paid another lineman, I forget who it is. Now you're going to pay Dak. Are you going to kind of hardball Cooper at this point?
They might, because I feel like they're going to give Dak near what he wants now. So they might have to play hardball Cooper because of how much they're going to give Dak.
Do you let Cooper walk after this year, at all things considered? Even if you say Dallas gets to a Super Bowl, Cooper is an 80-plus catch guy, 5-plus touchdowns, 1,000 yards. Do you let him walk?
That's a difficult question. I mean, you have to see how Gallup and Butler play. You have to see how they have a lot of threats on that offense. But the thing is, like, Cooper is special. He really is. I mean, you got to think, like, Cooper's still their number one. And how much is he taking off of Gallup and Butler? You don't know how well they can perform, or if they can get another guy like Cooper over there to help out instead of Cooper that may take less money. So it's tough. It's very tough letting someone like that walk because you know how good he can be on the field at any time.
Yeah, so Cooper is going to be an interesting one to look at. I think we're pretty confident that Dak is going to get paid.
He's definitely going to.
Cooper is definitely a weird one, but we're going to move on from football now, Dave.
All right. Well, we're going from football to the WNBA and NBA. We're going to just basketball generally. So some weird stuff kind of happened over this week. So the Luka sent out a little video message recognizing the rookie, I believe the rookie of the year.
And that's Luka Doncic, Maverick superstar.
Yeah, Luka Doncic. Thank you very much. I forget how to say her name. Enrique Ogunbowale. I can't remember right now.
We both apologize because you are a fantastic player.
Yeah, you're very good. But yeah, anyway, she was rookie of the year. So he sent out a video saying, Roy recognized Roy, rookie of the year, recognized rookie of the year, and Dallas Wings posted that. And for some reason, the Minnesota Lynx decided, we don't like this for some reason, said, and I quote, says a guy who hasn't been to a WNBA game all season but got sent a jersey and recorded a scripted video. I don't understand what exactly is really their reasoning for this. Like, what are you getting out of this, out of doing this?
All I get from this is I don't know, the social media coordinator does not speak for the organization. I don't believe that is a organizational thing.
Yeah, it can't be. It can't be. It just wouldn't be intelligent.
It's tone deaf. It is a tone deaf thing where one of the things the WNBA is trying to do with their deal with ESPN, with all their exposure, and you're trying to grow an audience. You're trying to make more money and more revenue. Having a superstar in the NBA like Luka Doncic acknowledge one of your rising stars is only a positive. Whether he didn't go to a single game or not, the fact that he's recognizing another star as his, I'm not going to say equal because that's a wrong word, but just basically recognizing someone from a league that struggles to get revenue. Why are you going to, knock this up? There is nothing to gain out of this besides making yourselves look stupid. That's it. They look dumb.
Yeah, they look. They just look angry. They look angry at him, and I mean, I kind of, in a way, I guess, the man didn't go to a game, so why would he do this? But he's trying to be nice. I mean, why not try to get him to go to a game because he's being nice and recognizing the rookie of the year in WNBA? Be like, hey, since you did this, come to a game. Come watch her play next year. She run rookie of the year just like you did. Come on. I mean, obviously Minnesota's not going to extend that, but maybe say we're playing them this. I just don't get it. I just don't get why you would do that. It's not a good marketing strategy. It just looks like, I guess, bitter in a way. I don't know exactly how to say it.
Yeah, I hope Luka Doncic responds by telling the Minnesota Lynx franchise that there's will call tickets waiting for any of them that wants to come to a Mavs game. Because how many games did they all go to? Did all the Minnesota Lynx go and have a Minnesota day and go support the T-Wolves? I don't remember that. I don't remember hearing about that. That would have been news if that would have been something cool. If we always hear about franchise crossovers. We heard about the Yankees, Gleyber Torres, and I forget who else wearing the Saquon jersey. And we heard about that. And whenever teams kind of cross over with each other, we do hear about that type of stuff. Last time I checked, Minnesota, the Lynx players did not go and visit the T-Wolves. I didn't hear about that. Did you? They might have, but it wasn't news then.
Yeah, they might have. I just didn't hear about it if they did. I just don't know, man. It's a weird thing to witness. I just don't get the business move or the social media move, I guess.
Well, I do want to say definitely that I believe that their social media person, number one, needs to be fired because you don't stop fighting a social justice thing on a social media account because a guy tried to help out another player in terms of notoriety, number one. And number two, David, it seems like tone deafness was a theme for this week because the next topic, ESPN's Max Kellerman, I talked about this on the most recent episode of the Sports Opinions podcast with the Unsealed co-founders, Lauren Brill and Audra Frimpong. Fantastic website, theunsealed.com. Go visit it. ESPN's Max Kellerman, he's made some really stupid comments before. He's one of the most tone-deaf people in sports. I don't mind Max most of the time. He tries to be shocking too much. He basically came out. I don't have the exact quote. I don't want the exact quote because it was stupid. Basically said that your famous track athletes are only track athletes because they failed at other ball sports. And that it's not difficult at all to run as fast as you can from point A to point B. And it was in the context of the conversation of whether or not Usain Bolt is considered the greatest athlete of all time. I hate Max Kellerman right now. David, tone deafness, it seems to be a disease.
Yeah, I mean, it was a really silly. I don't know why he would make that comment. I think he was just trying to get people a little upset because I mean, if you've been around sports for so long, you had to have been around track a little bit. You have to know what it's like. I mean, I can get it. Like I ran track in high school. I know that some kids maybe they're not athletically inclined, but they can be somewhat good long distance runners. So that does happen sometimes. But your star track athletes usually are still good enough to play in ball sports, but they're just better at track.
Definitely. And it's one of those things where your sprinters are sprinters are sprinters. You can only refine them, and it's all technique at that point, which I will put a proper technique of a 100-meter hurdle or 110-meter hurdle for the men up against any technique in any sport ever and let you know that it's probably more technical than anything you do. So there's that, number one. And number two, I agree with you. I think he said it intentionally to get this, but it's just such an ignorant comment to make. And I think part of the problem is the marketing for track is awful. So yes, track gets crapped on. But I talked to Maurice Green on the podcast, Olympic gold medalist for the Sydney Games in 2000 for the 100-meter, and he talked about when you went to Europe, everyone knew who they were. They were rock stars in Europe. There is money to be made there. If the United States ever shapes up and if there's money to be made in track, I'm telling you right now, we will bite from every other sport and take some superstars away, without a doubt.
Oh, it's definitely possible, especially if you can make good money off of it. I also want to input one thing, though, about possibly why Max said this, because you got to think he was trying to win an argument, and sometimes when people try to win an argument, you'll say whatever the hell it is you have to say in order to get a good point on your side. So that's also possibly one of the reasons why he would say something like that and maybe go a little too far with it.
Yeah, I'm over Max Kellerman. I talked about him twice now. Max, next time you say something stupid, we'll talk about you again. All right, Dave.
Okay. So next, we have the U.S. Open. Finished. Over. Both men and women. Women's side, we had Serena losing in the finals to a 19-year-old Canadian woman. I cannot remember her name. I had it up, but my phone decided to not stay on that page. So, unfortunately, I do not have her name right now, but congratulations to her. She beat Serena Williams, yet again proving my argument that parity in women's tennis is a lot better than men's tennis because Nadal just beat Medvedev for the U.S. Open title, which is interesting because he actually said this is one of his most emotional titles he's won.
Now, the girl's name I looked her up is Bianca Andreescu.
Yes, I just found it as well. Thank you.
And the thing with Nadal is, I think he's getting close to having the most emotional one because he's one away from tying Roger Federer for the most Grand Slam victories of all time.
Yes.
Which would be massive. And the one thing about Nadal with me, I think you remember when he first came in, I think he was like 16, 17.
Yeah, he was a young
my
kid.
Favorite player. Right from the bat. I love Rafael Nadal.
Mm-hmm.
As he's gotten older, I still enjoy him. A lot of injuries have derailed him. But he's going to go down as one of the greatest tennis players of all time.
Oh, no doubt. 100%.
And it's all well and dandy. But again, it's like you said, we watched Osaka and what's the number 2 in the world? Barty. Osaka and Barty both go down in the U.S. Open in the bracket. And
yes.
It looked like Serena Williams was on easy street. And here we go. A 15th ranked Canadian player who's kind of a little bit of an unheard of.
19 years old.
19 years old, not really heard about, comes in and wins 6-3, pretty handed in the first one, and then against one of the greatest players in the history of sports, period. It's fantastic. And it stops Serena Williams from another milestone, which a lot of athletes might crumble just in that moment.
Yeah.
But not here. And I think it comes to what you said last week. The parity in the women's side is so much better than the parity in the men's side. We need to find that next young star in the men's side. Yeah. Overall, did you watch a lot of U.S. Open, Dave? Because I didn't watch much.
I watched some of it. I watched it when I could, when it was on.
So what were your impressions of, because right now, I'm not going to lie, I watch some of the tennis when it's on, but the presentation, I don't know what they can do with it. Maybe it's a commentary. It's not as exciting as it used to be to me to watch it. Maybe it's because there's so little stars or on the men's side, there's 0 Americans that ever have any chance.
Yeah, I mean, you don't have any. I don't know. Tennis it's a sport that can get boring at times, depending on. You got to really love it in order to love it every time you watch it. The presentation, you can't really do much for it. I mean, the commentaries are always going to be a little. You can't really yell too much in a tennis match. I mean, unless something crazy happens, but even then, you're just kind of getting a little an inflection in your voice instead of any yelling. But I mean, we don't have McEnroe anymore going nuts, so we don't have like those guys like going entirely crazy on the court. I feel like we're like Roger, Nadal, Djokovic. Like we've gotten more of an esteemed stature of tennis. So of course that it could get a little boring for people after a while. Like the esteemed stature usually gets a little boring, especially for Americans.
It does. We have a whole bunch of Tim Duncans and Tom Brady's running around and on playing tennis, and that does get boring. But I think you're onto something. I think we need some truly maniac yelling commentators, where they're maybe not in the arena, so they won't be heard, but they're like doing it from somewhere else, and they can absolutely scream every time, like a soccer. One of the Spanish soccer guys, like whenever there's a friggin' an ace, they could be like, "Ace, got him, 110 miles an hour." Like, I think that would spice up a lot, and there would be a lot of yelling. Like, they'd have to be like, they'd have to train their voices for that. Would you watch something where they're just going like? Where they're basically being like a mix between Rob Planner and Joe Hackett from the Playbook, just screaming about the Jets.
See, I don't know if I could. I kind of like watching it. I mean, sometimes I'll just watch it without sound, so I don't even care about the commentaries. So I don't know if that's for me, but if some people might like it. Someone going nuts over an ace for no reason is pretty funny. I'm not gonna lie.
Or if it's like a double fault, if they're like, they're awful, like Gail Monfils with 14 double faults in his semifinal. I'm sorry, I have to 14 double faults as a professional.
I mean, that's unfortunate for Monfils. We know he's better than that.
Yeah, in Virtua Tennis, he was like the only one that did the jump back on it. It was so cool. Virtua Tennis was a great tennis game. They made the guys actually dive on hard courts. Do you know how terribly that would end up if they are fully laying out and diving?
Yeah, you're not wrong.
It would be so bad. But we're going to talk about, I think I'm going to try and fit in another topic after this one. We're going to talk about something where you brought it to my attention, but I want to react and respond to it because it is stupid. NBA is dumb. Not because of the play.
Do you want me to bring it up?
Not because of anything else. No, David. I need to bring up the stupidity.
Okay, all right.
Burning my brain. So it's a good thing we talked about tennis first because, in tennis, they wear a lot of headbands.
Yes. A
lot of sweat happens. You're running. One of the famous headbands that came out of it, where it was around before this, but Roger Federer and Rafael Nadal made the tie headband, where Nike is the biggest one with it, where it's basically a big tie. They tie it in the back. It looks pretty damn cool. Last year, it took hold in the NBA where a lot of players started wearing it. Jimmy Butler wore it. Jared Allen of the Nets wore it. And a lot of players took to it. The NBA and typical Big Brother-style leagues decided that they are going to ban what they call ninja-style headwear, which is fantastic. They're calling it ninja style. I feel like I feel like everyone should start running around in like the rafters of the NBA wearing them. But they're banning ninja style headwear because, get this, safety. It's unsafe because it might get loose and a piece of cloth might fall. Not the shoes that go flying around sometimes. That's fine. But a piece of cloth might fall and somebody might get hurt in a contact sport over a headband. Can we talk about this?
I mean, what do you want to say? I mean, I feel like it's pretty dumb. I felt like the headbands were really fun. I remember I want to say I don't remember who else it was on the Sixers. It was Jimmy and someone else, but they said that it was their club with the headbands, and you can only join in if you like message them at like 12:01, and if they didn't answer by like 12:03, then you're not allowed to be in or something like that. Like that was hilarious. But I don't know. I just thought it was fun. You get to bring out more character with the things you wear in the NBA. That's always how it works. So I don't get why. I mean, just let them wear it. What's the point?
It's a headband.
Yeah.
It's a headband. They're worried about headbands. Who in the league office sat there and brought this up to like a safety team going, we got to nip this in the bud, guys. I don't know about these headbands. 82 games, no problem. Playoffs, as long as the actual season, they're good. Back-to-backs, headbands. That's the safety concern. Seriously? Seriously?
I don't know. The NBA seemed to be doing a lot of things right, while the NFL is cracking down on a lot of things. I know people have been viewing that. Like the NBA seemed to be really nice to their players. The NFL seemed to be really cracking down and being strict. And now all of a sudden the NBA does that. It's like, well, all that good public relations you kind of just did, you're denting it a little bit. You haven't cracked it already, but you're dented it. Like, what are you doing?
So just remember to all the parents out there and athletes listening, mind your headbands. It could end your career. Idiots in the NBA league office. They're going to reverse this. Last but not least, Dave, I want to throw this out there. Week 1 is about to be in the books of the NFL. I overreacted. I'm still overreacting. I'm mad at CJ Mosley. But we all need to relax.
That's exactly what I've been saying.
At work today, I listened to some Giants fans trying to rationalize how bad they are, and it made me realize, God, week 1's great. One of my guys at work, he decided that he wanted to talk about how great Barkley looked. And I was like, dude, you guys got crushed. Who cares? Who cares? But everyone just needs to relax. Once we get to week 4, we can start actually having reactions. I read something where it was like overreaction, reaction. The only teams that can probably react negatively are the ones that lost quarterbacks. Everybody else, calm the hell down.
Well, everyone, I mean, in the case of the Jets, I'm bringing them up, 1, because that's what we're a fan of, and 2, that's what I know the most of. That's the team I know the most of. But in the case of the Jets, it's a completely new system, both offensively and defensively. It's being input. It was their first real game-time experience against a very good Buffalo Bills defense that had game-time experience together already. Like, they're not entirely that different of a team. And but a Bills offense that's the same systems. They haven't changed anything. We've upheavaled our whole entire system. The whole new coach, whole new GM, everything. So obviously disappointing. But I mean, for any team, the week 1s rarely matter. The Patriots got blown out by the Chiefs week 1. I don't remember which week, but which year, but they got blown out. And everyone's like, oh, the Patriots dynasty, it's over. And then they go and win a Super Bowl. I mean, like, the Bengals started like 4-1 last year. And we see where that got 4-1, 5-1. Then we see where that got them. Like, so we need to relax. Everyone collectively, unless you're a Dolphins fan, needs to relax.
Or the Jags. The Jags could probably be pretty pissed.
The Jags can be very unhappy because Nick Foles, and the man went out throwing a bomb. You knew his heart was in. His heart was in Jacksonville. His heart was in Duval, man. He wanted to do it for you. So I genuinely feel bad for the Jags. But, every team that didn't lose a star player to injury or quarterback to injury, just relax. It's only week 1. You need to see how your team settle down and go throughout the year.
And a big relax goes out to Eagles fans. God, you're fighting a 76er in the parking lot because he's wearing his Redskins jersey. You're fighting a guy that most of you are probably going to root for in a few months.
Exactly.
And he is haymakering you, a bunch of you, onto the ground. Like, the Eagles fans, when I think they can't reach new lows, they're fighting one of their own.
Yeah, I guess you can't say they're not passionate, man. You can't say.
Eagles fans.
Mike Scott did not deserve that. Not one bit.
But Mike Scott worked all of them. If you watch the videos,
yeah, I know.
Just
what do you expect?
Men going down.
What do you expect? The man's a professional athlete.
Oh, man. Yeah, everyone needs to relax, including me. But like I said, the Jets, what do they play, Monday?
Yes.
Okay, I'll like them by then. I hate them until Sunday. And that's just going to be that. But all right. With that, this episode of Cuesta Dos has come to an end. David, I don't think I was as mad this time, so I had a little more fun.
You weren't.
And I had a good time. There was Antonio Brown never ceases to amaze. Now, Dave, seriously, is he going to quiet down now that he's a Patriot? Are we?
I hope not. I hope something happens. Something's got to happen, right? Something's got to happen. Something might pop out with the Raiders still. We never know. He could make the show next week.
All right, so I re-abridge my question to you now. Who gets cut quicker from the Patriots this year, Josh Gordon or Antonio Brown?
I mean, it depends. That's a tough question. Is Josh gonna be okay? Is he on a straight and narrow now? But is Antonio on the straight? No one knows.
Are they going to share whatever drugs Josh is still doing?
But the thing is, I think the bigger question is any of that going to stop New England from getting to another damn Super Bowl?
Probably not.
This needs to end. It needs to end one day.
It'll end when both Tom Brady and Bill Belichick retire. But okay, we're really going to end the show this time. Episode of Cuesta Dose again. I'm Alex Cuesta. Find me on Twitter and Instagram at _Cuesta30. He's David Cuesta. Find him on Twitter at dcuesta308. Find him on Instagram at QuestaCola. And go look up Sports Opinions Podcast on Twitter and Instagram. Twitter, Sports Opinion 30. Instagram, Sports Opinions 30. Visit the Facebook page. And go check out the Playbook, Personal Foul Podcast, and my most recent episode of the Sports Opinions Podcast, all under the Sports Opinions Podcast umbrella. So lots of great content. Playbooks about football, Personal Foul Podcast. Our boy Colton Guest are hosting, bringing on great guests every week. So you'll enjoy that. David, you have anything to say before we close out?
Well, I'm just happy that you remembered my social media names because I wasn't going to remember them. So
yeah, I'm done asking you. We're over that. I'm just going to say it every week.
Thank you very much.
But all right, with that, that's going to close out this episode. Everybody, have a good one.
Sports opinions.